Hello, welcome back into the Butler Esports Park. Day 2 for me, and it was quite a show last night with Rocket League. I am excited to be back. It's always a pleasure to be able to come in here and cast. I said that on Twitter, and it truly is. You know, facilities are great here, the people are even better, and the action is even better than all that combined. And here we got a great game that does very well. They could end up meeting in the finals once again.
I mean, last year, especially, it was IU who took it over top of Ball State. So meeting them head on here this early into this program that's something you want to see. It's going to be a very heavy game, a very heated game. It's going to be, it's going to be very important to both of these teams here. I think even if IU is sent down and Ball State end up taking it, I think IU has the potential to drive their way through the losers bracket and back up to fight Ball State again.
Yeah, both these teams are very, very well in depth. They like you said, either team, no matter who it is, I fully think that they can just power their way through the losers bracket. But, Indiana did take a game off Ball State last night in Rocket League. Anything can happen. And they about took another one off of them again. They almost took 2 games off that really good Rocket League team there from Ball State. So Indiana versus Ball State here, you're looking at a very, very good game very early on in this tournament. And this has grand finals implications. Whoever gets sent down to the lower bracket, they have to fight even harder to get their way back into the grand finals.
I mean, though, fair enough, even if you are sent into the losers bracket, because they play back-to-back-to-back, you kind of build up that warmth that maybe the team who gets to the finals first doesn't get. They kind of have to go in there and they have to, build up the momentum that they had when they first fought them. So I'm not saying that losing is always a bad thing here, because you could totally use this as an opportunity to continue through, build up that momentum. And while you're doing that, your coach is thinking in the background, well, how can we use this, as an advantage to beat the team that currently is in the finals, although they've had no competition for, maybe a few hours. It's very possible that they don't have the warmth to continue. They haven't played an actual game. And that's kind of where this shines, is you come into a game like this and you have to use what you get. There's no warm-up like an actual game. And what are you going to do? But, if you're sitting in the finals, bracket, you're kind of just sitting there. You can practice as much as possible, but you can't practice against the team that you're going to fight.
And these are also really, really long days. I mean, if you're sitting there for hour, 2 hours, 3 hours maybe, like you said, that gives the upper bracket the time to kind of cool down. But you also got to think, if you're in the losers bracket, that's an amount of pressure that no one wants to have to face. You lose one more time, you're out. And not only that, you have to do that not once, not twice, but like 3 times in order to make it to the grand finals. And in order to win, you have to force a bracket reset in the grand finals. These are long days, long, hard, trying days, especially for these teams and these players and all parties involved. Because I know myself and the entire production team, it took it out of us last night. But we are back. And we are ready to go. I'm ready for this game. I know it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Personally, I see Lotus, I get a bit nervous. I mean, I know we've especially had a bit of trouble. Ball State, personally, with this map, they come in here. Ball State's like, this is a fluke. We come in here. We know this map in and out. But the stats don't lie. Ball State has, I think, only won at least one time on Lotus in the past few weeks.
They have a 52% win percentage on Lotus. So it's a flip of a coin for Ball State. How well does Indiana know Lotus? That's also true. Factors into it. But I do believe Ian said that they beat the number 10 team in the entire country on Lotus not too long ago. So this team feeling very confident in their ability to play Lotus.
Okay, we are coming into the game now. On Ball State side, we see a Sky, an Omen, a Viper, a Raze, and a KJ. On IU side, following that up, we do have another KJ, Omen, Sky, Raze, and Viper. So it does seem like we are having ourselves a mirror match on the table here. I'm kind of surprised to see, I know this is Lotus, so Asher doesn't do too well here, although I do know that a lot of our players, sometimes when they come into a map that they don't know too well, sometimes they'll go down to a pick that they, just a comfort pick. A comfort pick isn't always a bad idea, especially if it doesn't work too well on the map you're playing, especially if it's a map that you aren't too comfortable on yourself.
Yeah, and comfort picks, I feel like it's very polarizing. It's either going to go really well and benefit your team greatly, or it's going to go really bad and not going to benefit your team at all. I do know that Ball State loves their pistol rounds, so we'll have to see how it plays out here. I personally love pistol rounds. You know, it's like the most basic form of Valorant that you're going to be able to see. And especially with two teams as high of a level as this, it should be quite a show.
I mean, we did already see what IU had to bring to the table here. So IU a little bit more warmed up than Ball State is, per se. Although coming out here, Simba does get one onto Fraggleton. The KJ goes down immediately, although they are tagged by the turret and the alarm bat. The spike is going down on the midpoint here. They are rotating around, trying to hold this as much as possible. Although IU now full control of the site. Ball State having to get in. They get a flash. TN gets one on to Enjoy. They see the second. They're both flashed. They go back around the corner, although they are hit by the Omen smoke. Optic gets one onto Viper. They're hiding right around that corner. They get a blast back around there. They see the Omen, although they go down. A headshot onto TN here. Omen with 7 HP. One bullet will do it, and one bullet does take him down. Choku moving onto the side here. They get a second. Choku now looking right around the corner. They're waiting for it. They're trying to hold down for the team. They see the KJ around that corner there. Revo gets one around the corner. They get one onto the KJ, and that's a Ball State victory with a few seconds left on the clock for that defuse. They do end up trading it to get a bit more economy in the bank there, but that is a beautiful site retake from Ball State.
And it's especially good because it sets you up really good for the next few rounds. Getting that first round win, especially that momentum, you know, carrying it into the second round. It's looking like Indiana is going to sit mostly on B and A site. Maybe have someone rotate back to C. I'm interested to see what this Ball State team does. It looks like they might full-on push B, which I think they should do. They had success, and as I'm saying that, IU maybe not really settling on where they want to hold their sightlines at here. But like I said, this Ball State team looking like they're about to be a freight train right there on B.
I know when it comes to Lotus, KJ can be an absolute asset to the team. Honestly, no matter the map, KJ is always seeming to be a part of that roster. She always seems to have the utility to shut down a site, hold down that site for their team. As I say that, we do see now Ball State quickly moving on to the B side, holding it down. They see the raise around the corner. The grenade goes down as they re-peek around that corner there. KJ trying to hold the site there. Choku gets one off screen onto the Viper. They peek the corner. Rebo gets one onto Enjoy. That is 2 kills down, 0 trades for Ball State there. The judge is out. The judge is ready. They're trying to hold them down. They see one is now held onto that site there. They get one right around the corner. The judge does go down. Ball State loves their judge. I know Ian is proud of that kill right there. They love to sit right behind the smoke with that judge there. They're holding down sight. The sheriff is out. Simba, all he's got. He misses the headshot, although the flick does not come around for Fraggleton. Simba gets a second one. The judge now putting him down to 29 HP. He trades over for the Spectre there. His ultimate is almost near charge. He's going to get the spike down, as well as now putting himself in a 1v3 scenario. Can he get it down? They sprayed through the smoke there. The spike is down. They have to hold this corner. IU is now in a scenario where they need to do something here. He goes around the corner, but TN finishes it off. He was not ready for all of Ball State to be right behind that smoke, and that is what they do well.
I don't want to apologize earlier. I'm so used to seeing Ball State being red. I was calling the wrong thing. So, Ball State on defense here goes up 2 rounds. Momentum is fully on their side. Be looking for Indiana to bounce back here. And Ball State looking like they might set up shop once again in B. I think they love that mid play. I think that's what they really enjoy. It's what they're good at. It's what they thrive at. So I'd be looking for them to either stay in B, hold sightlines there, or just kind of rotate back around mid.
Sky is an absolute asset to the team, as much as KJ was when I was talking earlier. She is the only operator with a flash that actually lets the player know that they are flashed. I do believe this is because the flash is something that she controls, and so in the lore, that would mean that she would be able to see if she actually flashed somebody with that. Tian is holding down that current little rock pile there. I know that they can really head glitch around that, get a nice peek onto it. As I say that, the Viper wall goes down as IU starts to rotate back towards A there. They are moving as a team, moving as an asset. Ball State now knowing that they're there, having to all rotate together at the same time. Ian, another judge in hand, sitting within the toxin. We're waiting to see it. He gets one. He almost gets 2, but Enjoy gets it. Choku picks up his trade really quick. Fraggleton going out. He gets one. BS Smooth does end up getting a trade onto Fraggleton there. They are rotating through that back door. And at this point, we are seeing seeing ourselves with Ball State having the majority here again. Although Smooth putting himself in a position to hold down that side. He tries to spray through the wall. I do believe he got a little bit onto TN there. The alarm bot goes off. We're just waiting for Ball State to make a move around the corner here. I'm unsure where they're going to rotate around. They do have the bomb in hand, so they have every possibility to do so.
Bot coming back.
Yeah, Ball State holds the steadfast over there on A. They don't even know that they're rotating back around, which this very well could be a great play for Indiana if they can get the spike down in a hurry. Ball State now the wiser, rotating back around to C. Spike is being planted. Can Ball State get there and intervene? They cannot. Spike is down. Timer is now put on Ball State.
There was 6 seconds left on the clock. Ball State knew they needed to rotate as they were nowhere on any of the sides there. Smooth gets one. Drop follows it up onto TN. It is now a 1v2. Indiana University has put this in their hands. Although, as I said, that Rebo makes it a 1v1 scenario there. Rebo has played this site before. He knows where they typically will hide. He looks in the normal spots. He sees the alarm bot is stunned there. He looks around the corner. He shoots him through the wall there. He knows that he was there, although it doesn't connect. And Smooth with a 3K to finish off the round and give IU that beginning momentum to send them further into this game.
Great round there by Smooth, and that gives Indiana a crucial round that they needed. You know, you don't want to let Ball State just up and run away with the game because you know that they will very quickly. And that's what that is exactly what Indiana is doing here. And it's looking like everyone's going all out this round. This is going to be a very, very good round for action. I mean, look at it. All bank accounts drained, and Joy has 0 left. No one really holding on to anything here. Everyone going full bore. And I'm excited to see what happens.
I mean, sometimes that's what you need to do against Ball State. I will say every time we have a broadcast, we almost always talk about Ball State's momentum. That is what brings that is what Ball State brings to the table. They build up their momentum. They build up their their speed. They take sites. They play differently every single time. They are always on the move and always ever changing. They cannot let something fly over their heads without risk of losing a round there. They are holding down all of these sides well. Omen in the middle. We see Sky and Raze on the right side towards A. We see the KJ and Viper on C side. They are spread out just well enough, although I'm unsure why they have not begun to rotate. I'm sure that the people on A have let them know, and yes, I do believe so, as they make a full push around Opted. Gets one onto Choku. Tian picking up the... Oh, I almost messed that up. Picking up the repick onto it, and then Simba gets another onto the rest of the members of Ball State. They now have full control of this site. We see Sky healing her teammates, getting them back to full HP, ready for another fight. No shields, so a headshot could take them down, but anything to the body. Fragmenton gets one. Opted picks up the trade back onto Fragmenton, although Ian gets a second tray onto Opted. They are trading left and right, putting this into a 2v2 scenario. The smoke is there. The Viper is shooting through it. They spray through. They get the Omen just a little bit. Rebo gets one onto drop. It's now a 2v1, and they do no longer have position of sight there. They get one, although they're sitting there, and Simba shoots through the wall onto Ian for a 3K to save the round.
Great clutch there by Simba for the Hoosiers. Brings it back to 2 apiece. And that's the round I was expecting. I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting anything less than that. Indiana finally finding their footing in this game. It looks like Ball State's going to have to save a lot. Indiana, not as much. That's the perks of winning a round.
I mean, you go with the full Sheriffs and Shield loadout there. They are obviously putting themselves into an eco. Although what Indiana University did in the long run may have hurt them if they ended up losing that round. I know they spent a lot of eco trying to get that done. TN gets one onto Opted. Rebo gets one onto Smooth. As I try to wrap up my sentence quickly, they now rotate back around towards C-side. It's just Ball State's KJ. Never mind, the Omen teleports onto C-side. There's now a 2v3 onto that site as the rest of Ball State rotates back around. If they get around fast enough, they may be able to get a flank here. It seems like IU is pushing towards middle there, although Ball State is everywhere and they are looking at every single angle. They have everything held down. IU needs to make a choice, and they need to make a choice quick. They need to take a site here, and they need to secure it. That is their only choice here. If they go towards the site and they lose the bomb, I believe that may be the entire round for IU there.
I agree. They need to get this down and put the pressure on Ball State. I mean, they already lost 2. They need to make something happen here, and they are the ones that went all out this round. Ball State, if they win in an eco round, that is tremendous for them, and especially with how this game is playing out. Indiana trying to move on to A site. They do. Simba gets a pick there on Epic Gamer. Dude, Ian and Joy gets a pick there on TN. They even it back up 3-3. The spike is down. Now the pressure is on the rest of this Ball State team as they rotate back around to A. I'm excited to see what they try and do here.
This is the power of Killjoy. This is what I said earlier. A Killjoy can make or break a round here. They have to get onto the site as they haven't gotten out of the Killjoy yet. One of them is going to get detained. The Omen just barely teleports out of the way in time. Although with one detained, Simba gets one onto Choku, and Fraggleton trades one up on Enjoy, although Druff refrags onto Fraggleton. It's now a 1v2, and IU picks up another victory. That is 2 back-to-back 3Ks for Simba.
And I like the composure that Indiana showed there. You know, they were down 3-5 very early in the round. They took a breath, they regrouped, they said, all right, we're the ones that, we went all out. We have to win this. We didn't go eco. We went full board, we got all of our guns. We just need to trust in ourselves and our ability. And that's what got them done there. I mean, they stormed A, they regrouped, they stormed A, they put the pressure on Ball State, and just Ball State couldn't respond to it, and they couldn't retake the point.
I mean, sometimes that's what you need to do, though. Even if Ball State is in an eco scenario, they ended up getting enough frags to where they got the guns to hurt IU's economy in the long run there. Because even if you go for an eco and the enemy team does not, any kind of a frag without a serious amount of economy earned in the round will hurt you in the long run. Seems as I say that Rebo is now holding down the site. A lot of IU is spread out here. They have one going towards A, 2 in the middle as with the spike. Omen and Raze on the C site. We have a 3-1-1 across the sites for Ball State here. They're trying to hold down that site. The flash goes off, although they look away right in time. Simba gets a nice pick onto Rebo there. And Joy gets one onto Ian through the smoke. Rise, it goes up. And now Choku gets a refrag onto Simba, although Enjoy finishes it off onto Choku. This site is now secured, and IU knows it. They are making a full push through here. All that Ball State has is the Raze and the KJ. Although both of them do have their ults, we could see a possible use of either to try and secure this round. Fraggleton gets one onto Enjoy, putting it into a 2v3 here. We see the Sky Wolf go through there, trying to get a little bit of intel if possible. The KJ turret's down, as well as the Raze Boombot. We do see now that they're pushing off of site. The spike is down and it's in a position where you can just shoot through the wall there. They're going to have to push out to secure the site there and secure the defuse. Because if you hold that site, they can just shoot through it without any consequences. Fraggleton gets one onto Opted. Smooth gets one onto TN. Fraggleton jumps down. And the Smooth finishes it off onto Fraggleton, giving IU a 4th round victory here.
Momentum is fully on Indiana's side as Ball State's looking to take a timeout here. And I didn't expect anything else. I mean, you want to put a stop to that momentum as fast as you can because they were rolling there. Them being Indiana, that is.
I mean, we talk about Ball State's momentum, but when the enemy team has momentum, it's kind of like a clash of light and dark. You have two sides that are fighting against each other, trying to battle it out for who can take the momentum the best there. IU now having enough rounds in their back to actually have, hold consistency in that momentum. Ball State was able to take the few first rounds, although IU is now securing themselves a good solid lead of momentum, a good solid economy basis. And they're going to be able to take that into the following rounds, and Ball State is going to be a little bit behind them. They're going to have to, save a few more rounds in them. They're not going to have as much flexibility in their abilities. They're not going to have as much flexibility in their gunplay, and they're going to have to make some trades. They're going to have to make some sacrifices to try and build up that momentum here. 3 seconds left on the clock, and the timeout is over. We begin once again.
And you saw it there, the strategy being talked about amongst the teams. They're just trying to craft up what'll give them the upper hand going into this next round. Indiana with a great chance to run away with it here. 3 rounds up. That it's not easy to come back from it. It's possible, but with how this Indiana team's rolling, very easy for them to run away with it. Ball State looking to put a stop to it here. Going into round number 7. Ball State down 2.
I see another judge from TN. They love their judges. Ball State will not falter away from any of the judges there. Rebo, again, with a judge of his own. The scout goes off. He knows he's there. He holds out the smoke at the wrong time as they peek the corner, and Rebo goes down. The judge did not work in that favor. It may have if he was able to actually just wait for the smoke instead of trying to immediately push it. He was not ready for them to walk around that corner that fast. The scout goes out. They hear the scout go down. They throw a grenade around the corner there, trying to hold them back as long as possible. They need to play time here. The Viper ult is down. Ian gets one. Ian tries to get two, although Optus retrays onto Ian there. Enjoy now having to fight against Fraggleton and Choku. Choku goes down. It's now just Fraggleton. Fraggleton knows he's there, although he gets flanked by Enjoy, who gets a 3K of their own.
I mean, this Ball State team is trying anything that they can, and I think they're kind of at the point now they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that trial and error, but you're down 3 here, round 8. Ego's probably not looking the best. Now you gotta make something happen. I think they go full buy here though to try and get another round and try to reel in this lead that this Indiana team has.
Sometimes the ultimates can make or break the round. They could use some to build that back up. I know the KJ can be used to take sight there. TN gets one onto Simba. Enjoy gets 2. TN gets 2 of their own. Opted trades onto...
Ultimates are already gone.
They are gone, yeah. They didn't... I mean, there was one use of them. Viper still has hers, and so does KJ. The scout goes around. Opted now knows that Rebo is there, although so does Rebo. Smooth now getting the spike down onto that A site is a 2v3. Ball State has taken these before. Rebo is now walking through the vulnerability. I don't believe that they know that they're there. He does not. Rebo gets one onto Smooth there. He teleports right behind him, although he cannot pull his gun out fast enough to take down the Viper there. Fraggleton gets one onto Opted, although the Raze uses her ult to finish off Fraggleton and secure the round. That's cool. Okay.
Good round there by Enjoy minus the end, but I mean they're pumped up. I understand it. I get it. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing, but
I can't say I haven't seen Ian do the same thing.
Yeah, but time and place for it. I mean, they're up 4 here. They're feeling good. Momentum's fully on their side. Looking like they're going to commit to A here. Ball State also committing to A. It looks like we're going to have a showdown here.
Although Ball State has much less utility. Ian gets one as the blast pack goes off and gets Ian himself. Simba gets one onto Choku now. The scout going out trying to judge where they are on the site there. They now know that they can push up into that site a little bit further as Ball State is trying to hold down A site. They know that they can't let them get control of that site because if they do, they're going to be put in another scenario where they need to retake the site there. IU trying to get as many picks as possible. We see Fraggleton on the flank there. Raze rotating towards Fraggleton as well. They're going to push through B, it seems, try to cut them off as long as Rebo can hold down the site as long as possible. If they can rotate fast enough. Although Druff was ready for the TN flank. Simba gets one onto Rebo. It's now a 1v4. I'm not sure how Fraggleton is going to be able to take this round back with just a Sheriff. I'm not sure if it's possible at all. We could see the ult go out, although that is probably not a great use of utility there. Druff holding down that sight line.
If he takes back A with just a Sheriff, I'm gonna lose it.
I think I'd start jumping.
Fraggleton in not a good position here. Can he get it done? He cannot. I wouldn't have blamed him if he just kind of stepped off, you know, just let the round finish. But I applaud the effort, you know.
I mean, IU is a force to be reckoned with. We know this from last year. They were able to take the victory over Ball State in the end, although Ball State did end up taking home the belt. Regardless, though, the amount of pressure on Ball State here to try and bring home the second victory. If they get this, they take the belt immediately. Sunday isn't even required.
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Well, if you win 2, you get the belt.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the points work, I guess. Well, hypothetically, let's say Ball State is terrible in League of Legends and IU wins it.
Yeah, so then IU wins. If IU wins this and that, then they get the, yeah. So if Ball State gets this, and then they would get the belt.
Regardless of semantics.
Yeah.
That's for the higher ups to talk about.
We're starting off.
I'm going to say Indiana's starting off awfully slow here. They're playing the long game.
I mean, they are spread out relatively well. I think the Viper did use her ult. She's just sitting inside of it to keep the Toxin up, keep the ult as long as possible. It's not a terrible idea, although it could be used later, because what we're seeing from IU here is they're just playing a different site. If they can take control of that A site, then they may be able to just get a complete waste out of that Viper ult. The defender Killjoy goes down. TN gets one onto Enjoy here. They're trying to hold the site. They're going to have to flank around and out of A to get away from this Killjoy. Although at this point, now Ball State has retaken the A side. They're able to hold this down. They're waiting for them to try and come through that wall there. They're rotating back around, trying to get through to Choke. The scout goes down. They know they're there. They're going to rotate. We're going to have a 1v1 here. Fraggleton gets one, and so does Joku. Although Opted refrags onto Fraggleton, but TN finishes the round and gives Ball State their first round victory in quite some time.
You were echoing my sentiments before I could even say anything. That's a first round win in a hot minute for Ball State, and they needed it. Round 11, down by 4 here. They just need to reel in as much as they can, and we talked about it. It's a coin flip with Ball State, especially on Lotus. You know, we don't really know we didn't know what to expect from Ball State on this map. They win some, they lose some. The stats say they win half the time, they lose half the time.
They win 52% exactly of the time. But anyways, as we say this, we see IU slowly rotating around towards that C site as the Viper goes into a scenario where they could have a 1v1 with Rebo. Fraggleton now trying to hold down the site there with little to no utility in the back there. They get down the Boombot there. They're trying to rotate. We're trying to see what IU's doing here. They seem to be rotating around while still trying to see if they can get a pick onto the C side. If they can take control of that site without losing too many casualties, that may work very, very well into their favor. The C side is a very strong site to have the spike down at. Ian was ready for the the Black Pack through the smoke there. They see the scout. It goes around. He thinks he can maybe push through the smoke there while they didn't see him. It's possible he could get it down. He's looking for it. He knows he's in the corner, but he sees him shoot through, so he knows where he is. He gets behind him. Ian gets one onto Opted there. Rebo gets one off screen onto the KJ, and Choku gets one onto the Viper. It's now a 4v1. The Omen, the only member of IU's team remaining. Although he does have the spike, but it doesn't matter. TN secures another victory for Ball State, and the momentum begins to build.
Last round
So the
in
tides, they may be a change in here. Ball State 2-round wins. Got a little more confidence in them. Of course, their eco is probably thriving as of now. Indiana on their heels for the moment. They will have to bounce back and get a round win here in order to kind of hold on to the momentum that they've established so far. I feel like Ball State easily run away with it very, very quickly.
Something I like to talk about back at Ball State personally is cushioning. Ball State typically tends to have a lot of cushioning, and they use it to their own. As I say that, Rebo gets an operator kill onto Enjoy. I didn't even notice he bought one of those. But back to what I was saying, we do have cushioning, and IU has a lot of it right now. Ball State's economy may be thriving just a little bit, but IU's economy, as long as they were saving well and ready for a possible Ball State re-push back onto the point scene, it's very possible that IU is in the same scenario that Ball State is, regardless of, losing 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, it's looking like they can't really decide on where they want to go to B or A here. They're sitting on B, but the Viper is over there kind of in the middle, just waiting, holding sightlines. Choku can't get the shot off. Smooth gets the kill there on Choku. Looking like they're going to full commit here on B and try to get the plant down, putting the pressure on Ball State. And this is how they've won every other round. They get the spike down very quickly. They get the plant down and put the pressure on Ball State, and Ball State tries to retake, and they can't. And that's kind of been the recipe for this Indiana game so far. That's it. That's their playbook. Rush site. Don't let Ball State retake. Win round.
Ooh, TN gets a double frag here, putting in a 1v2 scenario. He gets the grenade off, although he cannot get the kill onto Opted. It secures another victory for IU here and slows down the momentum that Ball State just built a little bit. It's very possible that we could see an early IU win here, sending Ball State into the losers bracket. Although, as we talked about earlier, that may not be a terrible thing to have happen.
Well, of course you want to win. I would. Well, I don't think anyone would prefer dropping down to the lower bracket, but I do fully understand what you're saying. And this Ball State team, like we said, either of these teams, whichever one drops down, they are good enough to fight and claw their way back into the grand finals. But so are all these other teams that are going to be down there with them. And it's not going to be easy pickings all the way to the grand finals. They're going to have to fight and claw their way back, just like they're going to have to fight and claw their way back into this game, them being Ball State.
You're basically trading experience for pressure. If you're in the loser's bracket there, you get loads of pressure because one game will take you out. But if you end up winning, the amount of experience and the amount of warm-up that you're allowed to get could actually, if you have a decent coach behind you giving you strategies on how to take down the IU team later on, that may not be too terrible of a thing to have happen. We're seeing now the toxin is quite low for the Viper here. The wall is held for as long as possible. They want to hold them off of that B site. The wall does go down here. Rebo trying to hold down the site here as Ball State is on the offensive as the rounds change over here. Smooth and Rebo now waiting to have a meet up together. Choku getting the plant down. A second Viper smoke goes down. They see a scout as well. They're now trying to just hold this side as long as possible. They're on to the site. They push onto it as fast as possible. Tien gets one onto Austin. Smooth trades onto Choku. Tien gets one onto Smooth. But IU is able to secure way more trades than Ball State can handle. Ian gets one onto Drop. It's very possible that he can hold this, but he cannot, and it goes down for another IU victory.
That's one Ball State needed, and they needed it bad, and they don't get it. Now they are down by 5, 9-4, not quite the 9-3 curse, but going into the round 14 here, Ball State needs something to happen and happen fast. They need to do anything they can to get some sort of momentum, some sort of footing here in this game. We know that they can. The question is, will Indiana allow them to get any breathing room here? I don't think they will. Indiana very strong on the attacking half. Now they are on the defensive half. And maybe Ball State was banking on the attack. Maybe like, oh, well, we weren't too good on the defense here. Maybe we can pick them up on the attack. I don't know. This Indiana team is really, really good. They're going to hold steadfast as Ball State, kind of a split push, 2 on A, 3 on C. Viper kind of sneaking up there, over there on A along with Killjoy.
We're seeing a lot from Ball State here. We're seeing a lot of what we saw from IU as well. They want control of that C site, and IU cannot let it happen. C site is incredibly powerful because of where they can get the spike down. They don't need to be on site to guard it. They can just spray and pray through the wall, and they can get it down no matter what happens. If they can get control of that C site, it's almost a guaranteed victory round. As I say that, Simba gets one onto Viper. And we're just waiting to see any more trades happen. We're waiting to see anything else from Ball State here. It's very possible that they made a full frontal assault. They could get control of C here, and that may be what happens as we see the frag grenade from TN try to line it up through the wall. He's waiting to see if he can peek him. Now he'll throw it. The flashbang goes out as well. They're trying to get onto the site. Smooth gets 1, Smooth gets 2, Smooth gets 3, Smooth gets 4, and ends the round flawlessly for Indiana University.
I'm stunned. I mean, great round there, obviously, and I think that might have been the dagger that seals it. I mean, Smooth with the 4K there, it's just, that's going to be very, very tough to come back from, especially if you're Ball State mentally and just in the game. Down by 6 now. I mean, they're going virtually full buy here. They're going all in, trying to get this round to get a little bit of momentum back.
I think at this point, Ball State is hoping to try and drag this into overtime. As I say that, TN gets 1 onto Simba, although Enjoy gets 2 trades. 1 onto TN and a second pick onto Rebo there. Choku now trying to wait. He's holding out the scout, possibly looking for that door. They see them jump around the corner. He saw them. He tries to spray through the wall there. We see a flash go up from the enemy team's sky there, trying to go out. Choku now sending a flash of his own there. They're trying to get around. They see him, but Enjoy gets a 3K so far with a 3rd kill on Ian. Enjoy gets a 4th. We see a possibility for an ace here. We could see it happen as the last remaining member of Ball State tries to hold down the A site. They have the spike. They have the potential to try and take this back. Although with little weaponry, it's very possible that we could see this end up as another IU victory here. Choku does get 1 onto the sky, of IU's team here. And at this point, I'm wondering what IU is thinking. They could give up A site, which is what it seems they're doing as they rotate back around. Although what we're seeing from the sky here is that they're actually rotating towards B here. They could be putting themselves in a 1v1 scenario against the Viper if they get behind them. They're looking the wrong way. It's very possible we could see that they rotate. Actually, never mind. It seems they're rotating around towards A. It seems they're just following in the footprints of IU.
What did I say? I mean, we're 1 kill away from an ace here. As much as it would hate, I would hate for it to happen, especially against the Cardinals. He gets it. That's the ace for Enjoy. That is the cherry on top for this game, for this Indiana team. Indiana very, very dominant throughout the entirety of this game, and that's just a little bow on top.
A second timeout here again from Ball State. We are seeing the economy here completely in IU's favor. We have Ball State with a little bit behind them, although in a scenario that we saw earlier, if you are put into match point, there is no longer the opportunity to save. You cannot risk taking in a weapon that you're not comfortable with against an enemy team that is full on economy, full on abilities, and they are full on adrenaline to try and take you out of the bracket.
Yeah, we were talking about comfortability. Those comfort picks, I wonder if they're maybe regretting those picks a little bit here.
I'm not sure if they did actually comfort pick. I think I believe the comfort picks we would have seen would be more closer to a possible Astra instead of the Omen there. Although the team relatively would not change regardless of it. I do believe that Ball State is very comfortable with, most of their picks that they end up choosing. I don't think you would choose them if you weren't comfortable with playing them. Although sometimes around they will end up picking an operator or an agent that is more closely tied to the map than the player themselves.
And Ball State not able to spend anything here. They're going into this round with very, very little. They're trying to make a lot happen here. And it's looking like that 52% win percentage on Lotus, that coin flip, it's looking like it might fall on the wrong side of the coin here for the Cardinals, as they have a very, very split push, 2 on A, 2 on C, 1 on B. Looking like we might get a 1-on-1 here on B if the Killjoy wants to push up. Just holding sightlines forward now. Everyone feeling each other out. Very crucial moment here in the game. Obviously, match point. You want to take this home if you're Indiana. You don't want to give Ball State any sort of breathing room or any sort of momentum.
We do see, Enjoy gets one onto TN, although Ball State seems to be defaulting here. They have the bomb left in spawn, trying to get as much as they can. Froggerton gets a pick onto Enjoy. This may be the last round that Ball State has to try and build economy. They may need to completely rush and secure the victory from here if they end up losing this round. We do see that Smooth is holding down that B site, but Ball State now picking up the spike, rotates towards C. All they need to take out is the Killjoy, although I believe the Killjoy is now ready for a possible Ball State push. Smooth gets one onto Rebo there, and we're put into a 3v4 scenario. If they can just get the Killjoy down. They get one on to Viper. They try to get a second onto the Killjoy. They cannot. It is now a 1v2 against the Killjoy right there. They see one. They get one pick. They try to get a second. They take out the Sheriff, although Ian holds down the site. It's now a 1v2. Ian with 25 shields and 100 health and 12 seconds on the clock. I'm not sure if he's going to have the time to plant the spike. They're going to have to try and see if they will push onto the site, and they do. Simba finishes off the round onto Ian as he runs out of time and is forced to plant the spike.
Point.
Yeah, going to match point here. And what I meant by last round was match point looming. I'm so tired. I'm just forgetting to say words now. I'm saying them in my head. I'm not saying them out loud. Now it is match point. Ball State able to go all out here to keep their hopes alive. And it'd be a very heroic comeback here for the Cardinals. I mean, and you look at their stats, it's not terrible. They are not playing a bad game. Indiana has just had the better game here out of the two teams, obviously by the score. But like I said, if you look at the stats, if you look at just everything, you wouldn't think it's as far of a foregone conclusion now as you would expect it to be.
Yeah, and foregone conclusions is possibly the word that we are going to have to be using here as Ball State is trying to go out. We see TN shoot their ultimate and get a kill on Smooth. They see the killjoy. They spray through the wall there. They are trying to hold this site. Enjoy refrag onto TN and gets a second onto Shoku. They take out an ult of their own. They don't see the one in the corner, although it doesn't matter. Rebo gets one and the ultimate is wasted there. They have control of this site. If they can get the spike down, they may be able to secure this round and maybe build up the momentum they need to continue further on. Opted sees the omen. They get a kill in the omen, but Fraggleton repicks on to Ted there. We're seeing now holding down that high ground. Simba trying to send anything they can, as much utility as they have in their backline as possible. They see the turret go down. They're looking in the corners. They get around them through the smoke. I'm unsure if they know that he is in the site at this point. They see it now. They know he's there. He gets it, and he finishes the round onto Simba. Ball State finishes that round and adds another tally mark to their lead, or not to their lead, adds a tally mark to the score.
Ball State comeback, maybe? Well, I mean, I'm all for exciting games, but that, like I said last round, that'd be quite the feat. We're in round 18 here, match point. Ball State, once again, pretty much going full buy. Rebo will have nothing left going into this next round.
I mean, that's kind of what you're going to have to do at this point.
Once you get to this point, every round has to be as much as you can get because it's match point. You got to throw everything you can. And this Indiana defense is throwing everything they can at A site as Ball State's rotating back around the C site.
I mean, Ball State is very, very power hungry for that C site. Although at this point, IU knows that they cannot let Ball State have control of that site again after last round. They see the killjoy from Fraggleton. It forces them to deny that point and forces them to rotate outside of it or be detained, which gives Ball State full control over the site there. A little bit of damage from TN. TN accidentally kills Fraggleton with his own grenade there. They get one detained through the ult, and they see him through the scout. Enjoy gets one onto TN. Choku gets one onto Enjoy himself. And now we see the Viper ult. They're sending as much as possible to hold this site and trying to hold them through into overtime. Trying to hold this as long as possible. It's a now 3v4 scenario. If they stay in the smoke, it stays up as long as possible. Ian could see them push into the smoke and get a frag before they have any time to react here. I'm unsure what they're going to try and do, but they're running low on time to do anything at all here. Smooth now running through the smoke, as well as the KJ there. Ian gets one onto Simba. They know where he is. Ian gets a second onto KJ. Rebo gets one onto Smooth there. It's now a 1v3 scenario. Can they finish it off? Opted finishes one onto Ian. It's so close, and the attackers win it with 4 seconds left on the clock.
You know, we said foregone conclusion. Maybe not time to count them out yet. If they keep winning rounds like this, they will easily find themselves back in this game. If I was IU, I would take a timeout here. I would take a timeout, snuff out any momentum that they might have, regroup, and figure out what you want to do on the defensive end, as they are also full buying this round. That cushion you were talking about earlier, that cushion's almost gone.
Well, I mean, that cushion was gone the second the round flipped, although they are going to have to build their own cushion from scratch again. IU is going to have to try and get a bit of economy in their backline once again, as Ball State, if they can continuously take rounds, we've seen this in the ESC, that's where they shine. If they can get as much economy in the back as possible, that may end up just working in their favor. It's not a huge deal if that ends up happening.
As a nice slow push here from Ball State, trying to figure out what they want to do, knowing that anything can happen, knowing that this round is especially crucial for the Indiana Eco. Once again, still split, looking to push onto B site. Look, I'm guessing that they're all going to rotate back around to A. That's what it's looking like. Looking like Rebo might stick around for a little bit longer, maybe try to get a pick on a sightline or something. But the rest of the team, 4 out of the 5, are rotating back onto A. IU none the wiser. It looks like they're maybe the wiser now, as the Sky is rotating back around. They're still holding steadfast on C.
30 seconds
I don't think
left.
they understand that they are full committing to A. And Ball State storming and getting the plant down, putting the pressure now on Indiana, knowing
Spike planted.
just how little that they have left in that eco. They're trying to drain everything they can from them.
This is going to be an absolute mess of a point here. Rebo gets one onto Simba there. He teleports up onto the high ground so he can wait as they come across Heaven, but Enjoy gets one onto Rebo. They have full control over Heaven. Choku gets one on the drop. Opted onto Choku. Tien onto Opted. It is now a 3v2 in Ball State's favor here with the spike down. They're running out of time. They're going to have to make a play here. Enjoy gets one onto Tien, putting this into a fair 2v2. Smooth starts the defuse to get Ball State into a position where they may think they're on the defuse. They're running out of time. They're going to have to pick something, and it seems they pick to have given up the site in Ball State's favor, leaving them with a bit of economy in the background to try and get something over on Ball State's head.
I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel a little something. A little something has switched in this game. A switch has flipped in this Ball State team. IU, not really a full buy here. It looks like they might save a little bit, try to get a little bit of that cushion back. Ball State rolling in it. They're going all out. They know what's on the line here.
I know we have Enjoy and Smooth, the final members of IU's team in that last round, still having a Vandal and a Phantom on their side. We have two Sheriffs on their side as well here, as well as a Stinger. Although Ball State has a complete full buy economy here with complete control over the Vandal and Phantom game, as well as full shield. They have 25 extra shields compared to the IU team here.
I'm wondering if Ball State will continue with the same thing that they just did, and it's looking like it's looking like they're going to go full bore onto A here. The only person there is the Viper from the looks of it to try and defend here on A. Of course, the rest of Indiana rotating back around. Killjoy, though, still holding the sight line over there, making sure no one rotates back around behind Ball State as they try to take this point. Viper kind of stranded there on point. I do believe that is Smooth that goes down. Choku with the plan off. Indiana rotating back around. This is looking a lot like last round, almost exactly like last round. Killjoy might rotate back around behind the Indiana team. Keep an eye on that. Moving through B here. Choku gets two on the Indiana team. And there's only one left for Indiana. Killjoy might not even get the chance to come around, or they might. That might be what they've been waiting for. No, he doesn't even get the chance to come around. Fraggleton wraps it up, and this Ball State team is only behind by 4 now.
I don't know what to feel at this point. This is a little over the top for me. We're seeing a possible comeback from Ball State. IU now taking their break here. They're going into a timeout. This is an interesting game we're seeing here. Ball State seems to be building up a little bit too much momentum that IU can't seem to get around.
See, I think that timeout should have been called way sooner.
It's hard to... I think now that IU has run almost completely out of economy, I think they now called the timeout to try and get a judge of how they should play this next round. I know Ball State has been moving fast, and they have been moving as a team, trying to completely avoid the divide and conquer technique that we see here. And at this point, it's odd to see a possible. I think it'd be rare to see a possible complete comeback from Ball State here. They have to go 4 rounds to send it into overtime. And at that point, IU will have, they'll have the economy to possibly shut down Ball State, because right now what they're lacking is economy. If they get to overtime, they get a outrageous amount of money to put towards whatever they feel like, and so does Ball State. It's a complete even match and something like a sudden death that we could see here.
Coming into round 21 here, I wouldn't think we'd make it this far, especially with how far down Ball State was. Looking like they're going to try and keep the same strategy that they've had.
They've got an operator.
In the back of the spawn. Not quite committing yet. Killjoy once again.
There's the operator. There it is. They love their operators. They love their judges. Ball State with either of those guns is a menace to society. And right now, IU is a part of that society. They're trying to do anything possible to get around the Ball State offensive as they make another push towards the site there. Optic gets one onto Fraggleton, although Rebo refrags onto Optic. At this point, Ball State is kind of put into a scenario where they're pinched. They're sandwiched between the rest of IU's team. The Omen teleports out of there, uses his ult to get away from Ball State there. It may have tricked them into thinking, maybe we can go this way. Maybe the site is clear. If they can get a hold of C, this may be another victory. I'm unsure if the Omen is going to have the potential to take down all 4 members of Ball State. But we've seen it before. We have seen Ball State be shut down by 1 member of IU on this site.
C. I thought they might have rotated back around to B right there in the middle, since they were right there. Rebo getting the plant down. Only 2 remaining for Indiana. Smooth gets the pick there on Epic Gamer dude Ian, but Choku cleans up. Killjoy is the last remaining. I think Killjoy is just going to take what they have, knowing, I mean, look at that eco. That eco is very, very low for Indiana, so they're going to hold on to everything that they have.
The round deficit is closing in closer and closer. It is very possible that we could see a full frontal assault from Ball State in these next 3 rounds, although slowly but surely IU is building up their ultimate in the background. We see the Rays, we see the Killjoy, we could see the Viper and Sky soon enough. The Omen used his, I believe, this round, so I'm unsure what we could see here. We could see just a complete use of IU's ultimates to shut down the train that is Ball State right now. Although Ball State will soon enough have enough ults of their own. TN does have one of his own to go against the enemy Rays. It's very possible that we could see 2-on-2 ultimate clashes here, as these teams are fairly even when it comes to the agents themselves.
Yeah, and things are going to get real interesting, especially involving the ultimates here in the home stretch. I mean, 9-12, Ball State has had a hell of a comeback so far. Can they complete it here in these closing rounds against this very, very strong Hoosiers team? TN, he's got a feeling someone's there, doesn't want to quite commit to it yet, even though the rest of the team has committed to C. They might rotate back around to A. I know Fraggleton is. He's joining the Viper over there.
So far,
but I'll probably say 3 holding steadfast. I would be surprised if they keep pushing C. It's looking like they're going to full rotate back around to A, or maybe even B.
I mean, so far it is unsure what Ball State is going to do here. I do not believe that they have gone for a B push in quite some time. They have been taking control of A and C, as both of those points are much easier to hold than B site itself, with so many angles into that site. Although Ball State only needing to take out 2 of IU's members to get full control of that C site, and with no callouts from the IU team, it's very possible that they may be able to get full control of this site without IU noticing until it is far too late. Rocket Fuse is going out, although it is completely wasted as Druff kills TN mid ultimate, and Ian retrades onto Druff there. Smooth is finishing it up onto Ian there. They have control of the site, but at this point, the numbers game is in IU's favor. They are going to have to push out of sight here. I do believe they will end up just holding the outside of the site and just spray and pray through the wall, although sometimes that may not work in their favor. It can miss from time to time. Smooth gets one on the Choku, putting the deficit even further in IU's favor here. It is now a 2v4 with them having control of the site again. We see Rebo. He's on the flank. He knows he's on the defuse. He may not be able to stick it, as it cannot finish it off, and Opted closes out the round as Rebo cannot stick the spray through the smoke, and that is an IU victory, sending Ball State into the losers bracket.
IU finally getting the job done. Ball State gave them a run for their money, but they continue on into the winners bracket. Ball State will drop down into the lower bracket, and they will have to fight their way back into the grand finals.
That may not be a bad thing. Like we said, it's very possible that they can use that to their advantage. I'm not saying I'm not saying they did that on purpose. It's definitely not. You don't want to go in.
It's all strategy. It's all strategy. All part of the plan.
The mind games exceed the game itself. They're going out of this. They wanted to lose to get as much warm up as possible into these coming games.
Imagine. But very strong Indiana team getting things done here against a very, very good Ball State team. And if this is just a sign of things to come, we're going to have a great day ahead of us.
I mean, I have a feeling that this is definitely going to be turned from day to night. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, we will see you in a few minutes with a match for Purdue versus Purdue Northwest. I wonder what'll happen here. This is, 2 powerhouses here. We could very well see Purdue Northwest take over compared to Rocket League. I'm unsure. But anyways, we will see you there very shortly. Bye-bye.